saddens me every time I see things like that. I mean, I'm going to be watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've seen, clips of it.
And again, this is kind of one of those wild conspiracy ones, so please bear with me with this question. But were you in the room with Russell Poole when he started to have his medical issues during that meeting?
I think it's a breakthrough in the case. I think this is another example of how incomplete the investigation is.
In life, the late Notorious Big partied and made millions alongside his producer and boss, Sean Diddy Combs, and his sometimes girlfriend, rapper Kimberly Lil Kim Jones. But in her memoir, the hip-hop icon's mother, Voletta Wallace, claims that Diddy and Lil Kim exploited her son, according to an excerpt of the book in the New York Daily News.
The moment he walked in, they asked him if he had received the script. He said, yes, 10 o'clock that morning. It was about 2 o'clock that afternoon he came in for the interview.
I'm glad my son does not have to witness that the very people that he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother, Voletta writes in Biggie. Voletta Wallace remembers her son, Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious Big. I am glad that he's not here to see how they have used his image and his name. Back in 2017, the late rapper's mother spoke of her anguish on the 20th anniversary of the hip-hop legend's revealing that the pain of losing her son has never gone away. Speaking exclusively to DailyMail.com, Voletta Wallace admitted she hurts every single day, knowing that she will never see her son again and that his K is still at large. And in a shocking claim, the matriarch of hip-hop reveals that she and L.A.P.D. detectives investigating the M know who is responsible for her son's death, but a conspiracy prevents the case from ever being solved. This came as a source who was in Biggie's inner circle revealed that the rapper may have been the unintended target of the shooting. Biggie, whose real name was Christopher Wallace, was gunned down in cold blood on March 9, 1997, in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles, aged just 24. The Juicy singer had earlier delivered his final performance at the Soul Train Awards before he was K after leaving an after-party at the Peterson Automotive Museum in a two-vehicle convoy. Trailed by fellow artist P. Diddy, who opted to travel in a separate car, his friend could only watch as the Brooklyn-born star was hit by 4 bullets from a driver in a Chevrolet Impala that pulled alongside his GMC Suburban SUV, speaking from her home in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Voletta choked back tears as she recalled the shooting. She said, "It hurts me every single day to know what happened to Christopher and that I won't see him ever again. And it's not just me who is devastated. His sister Tiana hurts every day because of his loss. As a family, we've collectively grieved, and it doesn't ever get any better for us." She added, "Any mother who has lost a child knows exactly the devastation I feel. It's the worst pain in the world and one that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. He was so young, so talented, and his life was taken far too soon. It's unnecessary that Christopher lost his life at just 24. He was my baby, and I think about him every day. When it comes to the anniversary of the passing of his death, I don't really like to talk about it. I know there will be a few tributes in honor of Christopher, and that's great he's still remembered, but it's very tough for me and my family." Voletta, who is a devout Christian, admits she has turned to God for answers since the M. However, as comforting as the church is, it can never replace her son. "I get by using religion to ease my pain, but that's not easy. It helps a little, but it's a far cry from bringing Christopher back to life," she said. "I have had lots of support from friends at church, and I'm thankful for that over the years. People have been very nice to me, and that's also because Christopher was such a glowing figure in their lives, too." Voletta blames the L.A.P.D. for not solving the crime and claims detectives know exactly who was responsible. "I have a very good idea who M. Christopher and I genuinely believe that the L.A.P.D. know exactly who did too," she said. "They've done their investigation, but they just refuse to move forward. I don't know why they haven't arrested who was involved. It seems to me that it's one giant conspiracy, and someone is definitely being protected somewhere down the line," she added. The longer the case goes unsolved, Voletta, who is the executor of Biggie's estate, knows it's unlikely she will ever be able to put her son's senseless K behind her. "There's no closure for me until that M is behind bars and sentenced," she said. "That may give me some closure to grab onto, but it sure won't ever bring my son back," she reiterated. Born on May 21, 1972, Biggie was raised in Brooklyn by single mom Voletta, a Jamaican immigrant who worked as a preschool teacher. It was a tough start to life, and Biggie was selling crack on street corners by age 12, landing him with a long rap sheet and a stint in jail at age 17. But in the late 1980s, the troubled teen, who liked to rap as a sideline to dealing drugs, got his big break. At 6'3" and nearly 400 pounds, he used the fitting stage name Biggie Smalls after Calvin Lockhart's gangster character in the 1975 movie Let's Do It Again. One of his mixtapes was sent to an editor at hip-hop magazine The Source, and Biggie was soon signed by Sean Puffy Combs, then working for Uptown Records. In September 1994, Biggie released his debut album, Ready to Die, under Diddy's newly formed Bad Boy Records. Backed with hits like Juicy and Big Papa, the record went platinum, selling 4 million copies, and the young hip-hop artist became a full-fledged star. The album earned several awards, including Billboard's Rap Artist of the Year and Rap Single of the Year. By then, he had dropped his original name in place of the Notorious Big after Lockhart sued him over Biggie Smalls. The rapper's career went from strength to strength, and he backed several other artists, even working with Michael Jackson on his 1995 album, History. By the close of 1995, Biggie was one of hip-hop's best-selling and most sought-after performers. He was married to R&B singer Faith Evans, and they had a son, Christopher C.J. Wallace Jr., in 1996. Biggie already had a 3-year-old daughter, Tiana, with another woman. Theories around the shooting, now a part of hip-hop lore, have re-emerged in one form or another over the years, as journalists and fans attempted to tackle the case. But a source who was with Biggie the night he died is convinced the bullets were meant for Diddy, not him. The source says he believes the bullets were meant for Diddy, aka Sean Combs, as a revenge K 6 months after Biggie's rap rival Tupac Shakur was also gunned down. The claim that Diddy was somehow linked to Shakur's M in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996, has long been rumored in hip-hop circles. A few years back, it emerged that the car in which Biggie was M is now being sold by memorabilia dealer Moments in Time for a staggering $1.5 million. According to TMZ, it was initially picked up by a woman in an auction in 1997 who had no idea how famous the vehicle was. The passenger door was apparently replaced after police officers removed it during their investigation. Ironically, both rappers are still competing posthumously. Around the same time, it was announced Biggie's last ride was up for auction. The BMW that Tupac was riding in when he was shot dead also went on sale for $1.5 million. Diddy's involvement in Biggie's demise isn't going away anytime soon, and that's why Miss Voletta believes a lot is being swept under the rug, much to her bemusement. In early 2016, a documentary was released alleging Diddy was behind Tupac's M and, by extension, Biggie's. The Los Angeles Police Department managed to solve the M of both rappers, according to a documentary featuring retired L.A.P.D. detective Greg Kading, who once led a special task force that investigated those 2-decade-old shootings. Based on his 3 years working the cases, Kading claims that Sean Diddy Combs hired Crips gang member Dwayne Keith Keffy D. Davis to K. Shakur and his manager Marion Hugh Shug Knight for $1 million. He alleges that on the night of September 7, 1996, Keffy D's nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, pulled the trigger. Only shocker was Kay Kading alleges that in retaliation, Knight hired Bloods gang member Wardell Poochie Faust to K Biggie Smalls for $13,000. Biggie Smalls was shot to death on March 9, 1997, just 6 months after Shakur died. Over the course of investigating, Kading says that he essentially trapped Keffy D into a situation where he had to give a verifiable confession about the events that led to Shakur's M, or else face severe charges for another crime. If his intention was to get away with it, so to speak, Kading revealed, it would have been very easy for him not to include all the details that he did. These extra details, according to the documentary, include the allegation that Diddy hired Keffy D for the crime. The documentary, titled M Rap, originally premiered in 2015. Based on Kading's 2011 book, which is the same name, it's available on iTunes and Netflix.
Quick, it's nothing.
The L.A.P.D. assigned Kading to reinvestigate the rapper's M in 2006, soon after Biggie Smalls' mother, Voletta Wallace, sued the department in federal court. Voletta's wrongful death lawsuit centered on a popular conspiracy theory that the police covered up an officer's involvement in her son's M. The civil suit estimated losses at $500 million based on Biggie Smalls' earning potential. It was Kading's task to disprove the theory posited in the suit, along with many others swirling around. Kading claims that once his team found enough evidence to exonerate the L.A.P.D, the reinvestigation of the M was essentially dropped. In 2009, the department took Kading off the task force due to an internal affairs investigation on a separate matter. Though he was eventually cleared in the internal matter, the image of a rogue cop stuck. In truth, over the course of his 25-year law enforcement career, Kading received the L.A.P.D's Medal of Valor and its Police Star for heroic action. He also achieved the highest ranking for an investigator, which is given by the L.A.P.D in 2010. He retired from the department. The following year, he published his book about the rapper's case. Kading now alleges that the L.A.P.D chose not to pursue formal charges in the case because of Diddy's celebrity status and because the evidence pointed to two K who were already deceased. Anderson and Faust have both died of apparently unrelated causes. In 2010, before Kading's book came out, radio show host DJ JoJo surprised Combs with questions about Biggie Smalls and the Bad Boy boss answered as if he seemingly had some knowledge of what had happened, declaring, "Those are street issues." The following year, Diddy told LA Weekly that Kading's claims were pure fiction and completely ridiculous. Kading, of course, disagrees. "You want to believe you are a good enough investigator to rise to the occasion," he told HuffPost. He said he had been chosen for the task force due to his experience in gang-related and narcotics crimes, along with cold case homicides. But the effort ended before any suspects were brought to court. Since then, the case has grown even colder. Additional people who might have known something about the rapper's M have died. Kading's claims appear unlikely to ever go to court, but maybe he will, following the recent arrest of Keith D, the main suspect in the M of Tupac. Unless he's sued by one of the accused, such as Diddy or Knight, both under siege at the moment, Kading will not get a chance to explain his theories to the courts. "I don't think any rational person looks forward to getting sued," Kading said, laughing, "but if I did, I would not shy away from it. I am very, very confident in the case. I'm confident in the evidence." In the meantime, he's making his arguments directly to the people. Kading's book ends with these words: "Maybe this story would never hold up in court, but maybe it will hold up in the court of public opinion. You decide." Despite, or perhaps because of, the high-profile nature of the accused, the documentary has had a difficult time getting distribution and press, according to filmmaker Mike Dorsey. "I think it's one of the 10 biggest stories in hip-hop of the entire year, and it's almost complete silence in the hip-hop media world," said Dorsey back when the doc premiered. Kading had similar frustrations with his 2011 book. It was originally written for a major New York book publisher, but that publisher eventually terminated the $250,000 contract, with those close to him claiming Diddy had a hand in the deal cancellation. Kading ended up self-publishing the book. It could have been a blockbuster, a lead L.A.P.D investigator into the M of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smallfingers, two of the most recognizable moguls in hip-hop for the crimes. This investigator claims he has enough evidence not only to refute previously popular theories about the crimes, but also to prove his own. Yet the story has gone nowhere. To back Miss Voletta's suspicions is Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal. The former protector has shed new light on the notorious B.I.G's death, claiming his March 1997 M wasn't a drive-by shooting. Gene Deal, who was part of Puff's security detail in the 90s, opened up about the night Biggie was K in an interview with The Art of Dialogue and expressed his frustration at how the events leading to his death are portrayed in movies and documentaries. Contrary to popular opinion, Deal insisted that the Brooklyn rapper's untimely demise technically wasn't the result of a drive-by, as he believes the K, who has yet to be identified by police, was already lurking in wait prior to pulling the trigger. "It just hurts because they lie too much. A lot of that S lies the way they put it together because they listening to these white boys who wasn't even there," he vented. "I don't want to make this racial, but they take these white boys who weren't even there and want to use the stories that they want to tell, which is not the truth." He continued, "There wasn't a drive-by. The car was standing there at the corner. The stories they tell are not truthful. And now people are sitting here believing. Every Biggie movie that you see, they say it's a drive-by. When the witness tells you the car was stood right there at the corner, the car was probably there all night."
Oh, this kid lose his life. This kid died while I was pulling him out the car.
Gene Deal also recalled rushing to Biggie's aid after his GMC Suburban was shot up by the driver of a black Chevy Impala, which had pulled up alongside it at a red light near the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, where the bad boy hitmaker had attended a Soul Train Awards after party. Deal held back tears while reflecting on that tragic night, admitting Biggie's death still haunts him to this day. "I saw this kid lose his life. This kid died while I was pulling him out of the car," he said. "I wouldn't put nobody in my shoes because I don't feel like they could handle it. If I didn't have God in my life, if I didn't have people praying for me, I don't know if I could have handled it," he said. He added, "Before we left Andre Harrell's house, Puff told me I didn't have to go. Now I went because I knew that somebody was going to die that night. Somebody was going to get shot. I did everything in my power to stop it from being Puff, and it wasn't Puff." He added, "The people that was bodyguarding Big didn't do everything in their power to stop it from being Big. And that hurts me, even though it wasn't my principal. Every time you hear his music, every time you see one of these murals on the wall, now they got statues. It's gonna hurt until God takes me away from here." Deal's comments come after he accused Snoop Dogg of lying about his relationship with the notorious Big. The West Coast rap icon has frequently spoken about his friendship with Biggie, despite the bad blood between their respective record labels. But according to Puff's former bodyguard, Snoop wasn't as close with Biggie as he makes out. "That's something that sounds good for the media," Deal said in another portion of his Art of Dialogue interview. "You know, I'm the peacemaker. I'm the one that's showing love. I'm the one that's out here when everybody else is dead, wishing that I could have did something to put the together." He elaborated, "It wasn't all that love until Pac was dead. Wasn't Big out in California for 3 or 4 weeks and Snoop never saw him? Snoop never came and smoked or ate with him. But it was a lot of love? Come on, man." Another person who has been vocal when it comes to Biggie's death is singer Keith Murray. Murray shared that he believes he could have prevented Biggie's death if the slain Brooklyn MC would have taken his advice to leave Los Angeles. In a released clip from his interview with The Art of Dialogue, Murray revealed that he was with Biggie on March 9, 1997, hours before he was gunned down. According to the Def Squad rapper, the two had a conversation about whether Big should remain in LA despite the fact that he had performances booked in the UK. "I said, 'Big, you know they do not like you out here. Leave. Come back another time,' he said before recalling what the city was like around that period of time. MFs will walk up and shoot people, literally. Walk up and shoot with AKs and K people. MFs was shooting each other left and right with no problem, you feel me?" the rapper narrated. He continued, "I'm in the car with Biggie and he's asking me this. I said, 'Leave, Big.' If he had left, it would have blown over. And I felt Biggie Smalls would have been alive to this day."
Biggie is a real friend to me. I cried the day Biggie died. And I was in LA, I was sitting behind Biggie.
Murray, who explained that he and Biggie had a friendship that dated back to the earliest point in their career, said that he, Eric Sermon, and Redman chose to bypass the activities around the Soul Train Awards and thus didn't see Big again that night. Sermon later knocked on his hotel room door and broke the news to Keith Murray. Following the fatal shooting, a meeting took place during which Murray says someone close to Biggie told them that they knew who was responsible for his M. He recounted telling the crew that they should avenge their slain friend that night. "I'm edgy right now talking about Big and Pac," Keith Murray said, "but Big was my man, and he got K out there like that. And the dude who said they know who K him, now they say the police know. But yo, we would have got them guns, and we would have popped somebody that night in the name of Big. Word." After having been off the radar for a number of years, Keith Murray's recent media appearance has made quite a few headlines. During the same interview from which the clip was pulled, the rapper confessed to an intimate relationship with Foxy Brown. According to the Lyrical Lexicon, the two often ran into each other in New York, and he never wasted an opportunity to try to take their friendship to another level. Years later, he said, things got a little hot between him and Foxy after a Def Squad performance at the House of Blues in Los Angeles. He then hinted at DMX having relations with her one night after a performance at the Apollo Theater in Harlem, New York, before going back into all the times he hooked up with Foxy despite her marriage to Kurupt. Another rumor strongly suggesting Diddy had a hand in Biggie's demise is the murmur that the prominent rapper was planning to quit Combs-led Bad Boy Records. As vocal as he has been, Gene Deal claims Biggie planned to leave Bad Boy Records behind for a better deal elsewhere. The Brooklyn-bred MC died in Los Angeles only weeks before his album, Life After Death, was set to release. According to Gene Deal, Biggie had other things going on before his untimely death. He recently appeared on DJ Vlad's vlog and claimed the late rapper made moves to leave Bad Boy for a lucrative deal worth more than $60 million. Deal said he saw Big's Bad Boy contract when he had to watch over Diddy's briefcase during a flight. It outlined Big's earnings in increments of $250,000 but left publishing income in Puff's possession. When he asked Biggie about it, the rapper allegedly told him about his new deal and all the money he'd make. He showed me. It had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Lil Cease, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, Tracy Lee, and the Commission, he explained. I think the contract was for so many years for like $62 million. It comes out to $62 million. Deal asserted that Big wanted to stop Junior MAFIA's way of doing business and have them start writing and holding their own. Reportedly, the late rhymer planned to keep Lil Kim under his wing and would have taken Deal along with him to the next label, but he believed the bodyguard was too loyal to Puffy. Deal started his own YouTube vlog several years ago and has a collection of stories related to Biggie, Tupac, Diddy, Black Rob, and other artists in Bad Boys orbit in the 90s and early 2000s. He's openly called out Diddy over things that happened in the past, leaving lingering questions in the air about what really went down with those on Bad Boys label. Deal has also talked about Jennifer Lopez's relationship with the entertainment mogul Suge Knight and the ongoing mystery surrounding Biggie's death. As part of Diddy's security team, the big man witnessed Big's M back in 1997 and lived through the infamous East versus West drama. But he and Diddy worked together for years, so it's safe to say he knows him pretty well. Since Biggie is no longer here, Deal's claims about his Bad Boy contract may be hard to verify. However, the rapper's mother, Voletta Wallace, once discussed how much money he received when he signed on with the label. She wrote about it in her 2005 book, Biggie. Voletta Wallace remembers her son, Christopher. The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much at one time in his life, Voletta wrote. It was enough money to make my son believe that Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy a blind love and loyalty. The assertions that Biggie planned to ditch Bad Boy were confirmed by legendary label executive Dame Dash. Reportedly, Biggie and Jay-Z were all set to team up at Rockefeller Records, according to Dame Dash. In a past interview with Hip Hop Motivation, Dame claimed that Biggie was planning to leave Bad Boy Records, backing up Deal's claims. Biggie's plan was give Puff and them like 3 more albums, then come sign with us. And we were going to do the commission, Dame revealed. That was what was going to happen. Or at least that's what was talked about very seriously. I think that's why he did a double album. He was going to do a triple album, and he was going to be out his contract, and then he was going to come F with us. So, from all these, do you think Biggie's death was keenly executed by Diddy, as the late rapper's mother, Voletta Wallace, suggests? Let us know in the comment section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.